It's going to develop fast. It's going to be very scary. It's going to be very disruptive. It's going to turn everything you thought you knew upside down. And there's going to be this massive Cambrian explosion of ideas. When we get to a point where an AI can generate 1 million of these interviews, if I can prove that I'm me by doing a transaction on the Bitcoin base layer, I could at least stop 100 million fake Michael Saylors.
Can you say on record whether or not you are Satoshi?
I have.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Crypto. Artificial intelligence has been the talk of the town in the last few months, ever since ChatGPT made headlines and caught the attention of big investors, boosting OpenAI's value to $29 billion. Users keep piling in, eager to explore its potential. In a recent interview with David Lin, Michael Saylor discussed the future of technology, the threats and opportunities posed by artificial intelligence, and how Bitcoin can help solve some of them. Saylor believes that AI poses some threats, particularly with the growing issue of deepfakes. However, with Bitcoin, it is possible to have a cryptographic signature on all kinds of content, validating its accuracy. Despite the threats posed by the technology, Saylor is confident that humanity will find a way through. It cannot be stopped and should not be ignored. He is excited about the technological advancements and opportunities in both AI and the crypto ecosystem, and predicts the next 10 years to be explosive. Let's listen to Michael Saylor as he shares his views on the future of Bitcoin and AI, and answers the question of whether or not he is Satoshi. But before we do, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we bring you daily content on the latest crypto news. And now, let's jump right into the video.
I think one threat is, as institutions and organizations get bigger and more powerful, power is centralizing at the top of them. So now you have organizations that control what 1 billion people can say every day. And you have organizations that can change the value of 8 billion people's money. And you have organizations that can distort, how billions of people think, right? And so I think that in a world where everything was decentralized, no one person could determine what everybody else was thinking at the same time. I think that was a safer world. I think it's an existential threat for the people that run, certain government agencies and networks to be able to control what you can think, what you can say, what you can know. And I think that Bitcoin and its promise can help us reverse that trend. I think we can reverse the centralization and we can decentralize, both by moving the monetary energy into the hands of the people and out of the hands of the organizations. Like, for example, I can literally bankrupt every single person in the country if I control the government and the central bank. Like, I can impoverish everybody, right? So shifting the control of that into the hands of the people, if they were using Bitcoin, the person that ran a country couldn't impoverish everybody on a whim, right? So I think that's one advantage or one important imperative. I think that AI is a bit of a threat in a way that, and if an AI can reproduce our interview and take a picture of me and have me say whatever it wants in my voice, right? In a way imperceptible, then it's possible to counterfeit any message and counterfeit any document. And so I think it's more important than ever that we master strong encryption and digital signatures. We're going to need, at some point, we need for me to be able to digitally sign this interview so that I can prove that I'm the one that spoke to you and said these things. And so if I could sign this video or watermark it with my private key, then when we get to a point where an AI can generate 1 million of these interviews, and they can have me saying anything they want, they can have me talking about food and politics and, and my childhood and whatever, which one is the real interview? If you go on Twitter, an AI could spin up 100 million Twitter accounts that would actually be more articulate than 100 million real people on Twitter. That they would be more charming, more articulate, more interesting, and more engaged indefatigable, right? And so that's a disturbing thing, right? We can no longer rely upon information freely flowing unverified. We need to see a world, for example, where there's an orange check, like where I need a passport, a cyber passport. If I can prove that I'm me by doing a transaction on the Bitcoin base layer, and then I have the private key, and then I digitally sign that transaction, and then I digitally sign my account on Twitter, and I digitally sign my account on WhatsApp and Telegram and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Office 365. And then I digitally sign the documents I write, the messages I deliver, the transactions I agree to. In that world, I could at least stop 100 million fake Michael Saylors from confusing and phishing and scamming and distorting reality. Because you know what? The AI version of me is actually going to be a lot more productive and more interesting than the real version of me sometime in the next few years.
Can you say on record whether or not you are Satoshi?
I am not Satoshi.
Okay.
I'm not Satoshi. Satoshi, gave a gift to humanity without expecting anything in return. And it's an extraordinarily ethical gift and humanitarian example that Satoshi set, right? And so very impressive achievement. I am not Satoshi.
There is a mixed reaction to OpenAI technology, as some experts feel that it comes with certain risks, while supporters are excited about its potential. Saylor believes that no one has fully grasped the implications of this disruptive technology yet, but it would be a mistake not to pay attention to it or study it. Let's get back to the interview, as Saylor further comments on the future of crypto and AI, while offering advice to young entrepreneurs starting their careers.
2022 was like the iPhone 3 moment. iPhone 3 was the first version of the iPhone where you said, wow, this operating system is going to compete with the web. And iPhone 1 and iPhone 2 were toys, and iPhone 3 was real. And then what happens next is Apple stock 10Xs and the world changes and billions of people adopt mobile phones. I think we're at that moment, that inflection moment. The first 12 months, I think the next 10 years is a sprint. And there's going to be this massive Cambrian explosion of ideas, and people are going to push the envelope. I don't think you can stop it. I think people will try to regulate it. It's not going to work to regulate it because there's going to be some country or some corporation that's going to have an economic or a political interest in pushing this. It's going to develop fast. It's going to be very scary. It's going to be very disruptive. It's going to turn everything you thought you knew upside down. And I have faith that humanity will find a way through. I don't think you can ignore it any more than you can ignore air power, machine guns, or nuclear weapons. I don't think you can ignore it. But I don't think anybody really understands the profoundly disruptive revolutionary implications yet. The only mistake would be not to be paying attention. You should be investing time and energy to conceptualize how you do what you do, and then reconceptualize what your customers are doing and how they might do it differently, and try to work your way down the value chain and try to figure out what gets dematerialized and what is the national rational response. And if you can figure that out 36 months or 24 months before anybody else, right, then that makes all the difference. In every generation, if you want to be successful, you have to master the platform, which is commercializing at the time you're coming of age. Beethoven wrote music for the piano. Chopin wrote music for the piano, and they were right place, right time. Led Zeppelin wrote music for the guitar, right place, right time, and they're immortalized. You gotta always think about what's the breaking thing. And right now, if I was starting my career, I would be studying crypto and crypto asset networks and crypto theory, especially Bitcoin, Lightning, and Bitcoin applications. That's one area because there's going to be 100x improvement advances there. There's extraordinary opportunity in that ecosystem. I would also be studying AI. If you're an artist, you got to be studying Midjourney and thinking about how does Midjourney change the way of AI. I'd be studying Unreal Engine. I mean, they figured out how to create an entire virtual universe, and we're right at the cusp where the world of the Unreal Engine 5.1 or something looks almost like a real world. If it's not, they're about to tip over. I would be studying ChatGPT, and even more importantly, I'd be studying the API and how do I write a persistent, intelligent agent and then loop it back on itself with real-time information. Ultimately, there are profound breakthroughs to be made on these new platforms. My advice is you don't study the platforms that made the previous generation successful, right? Engineers that planned the Apollo space launch, they did their engineering with slide rules. I didn't study it. I use an HP 15C calculator, but don't study that either. Then there came a spreadsheet, and then then there was Python and et cetera, and there was the internet. But don't fight the last war. Even the music, yeah. I like Mozart and Beethoven, and I like classical music, but if I was a genius today, I wouldn't be trying to duplicate what Beethoven did. If Beethoven lived today, maybe Beethoven would design an entire virtual world indistinguishable from the real world that's more beautiful, right? Or maybe, you got to figure out what's the new thing, and you engineer the greatest thing you can create with the materials given to you. There'd be no air travel without aluminum. There always is the engine, the silicon engine, the internal combustion engine, whatever it is. So today we can see clear the engines of growth are, crypto networks like Bitcoin is an engine, AI tools are an engine. There will be other engines, right? Master those platforms. So if you're constrained by the shackles of the last technology, the last network, the last platform, the last way to do it, you're holding yourself back. The world of possibilities is ahead of us. It's pretty clear that mastering the new technologies and the new platforms to create new things never before possible, right, is the way forward. That's my advice I would give to anybody starting their career.
What do you think of Saylor's view on this subject? Do you believe the opportunities outweigh the risks? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give us a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Let's Talk Crypto, and we'll see you in the next video.